Okay, today we're looking at the Puma Mobium. It's Puma's latest offering on the running scene. Damn nice shoe. Really like this, and it's not purely based on what it looks like, although I have to admit that plays a big part. It's a really typical Puma design, nice bright colour, really tight design. It looks amazing. But obviously all the hype has been around Puma's technology behind the Mobium, and rightly so. It's really something unique that they've come up with, what they call adaptive running. Essentially, in a nutshell, the adaptive running is that the shoe adapts to your foot. Puma has essentially designed this after a big cat's paw. So Puma, it's cat's brethren or cousins, if you will. I'm not going to go through all the major tech. Again, we're going to let the science guys do that for us with Puma's video supplied below this one. They can give you a much better idea of what it's all about. But essentially there are two major components. One is the expansion pods underneath the shoe here, which essentially have, as I say, have been designed after a cat's paw, and how the paw expands and contracts as it moves. So if you know the pads on your tabby cat at home, you'll see how they move, and the Puma expansion pods are doing exactly that. Another thing to look at, which stands out in the shoe, is the Mobium band, which is essentially a figure-8 kind of bungee cord wrapping that runs through on the sole of the shoe. This is to mimic the tendons of your foot, so actually how your tendons would work. This shoe is doing exactly that. So essentially, like I say, in a nutshell, this shoe does what your foot is meant to do, and it mimics it. Right, that's the tech, very briefly of course, but how does it actually function? Again, it's a fantastic shoe. I really loved it. The main thing for me was just how snugly the shoe fits around the foot, and obviously because of the fact that it's supposed to be adapting to your foot, you'd expect that. But the comfort of the shoe is what really blew me away. You often put on shoes on your first run, it's a little bit sore, you get a blister on a toe, you never got a blister before. The heel hurts a bit, the toes start to hurt and bunch up. But the Mobium really does literally wrap around your foot, and it's a very nice experience to be able to go for a run, and on that first run be able to put out a 10-15k and not actually have to worry about how your foot's going to look afterwards. So it's not going to end up a bloody blistery mess. As far as the actual adaptive running part of the shoe goes, again, it really is nice to wear a shoe that does what it says it's supposed to do. You can actually see, if you get up closer, you can see how that Mobium band pulls and expands. And it's a bit difficult to show you with my hands, but you'll also notice the way that expansion pods do move. Obviously when you run in, you'll get more of that, and you can really feel that. I felt particularly going up the hills, you can actually feel the shoe moving under your foot, but not in a weird way. It's very comfortable. It actually just makes you feel like your foot's working the way it's supposed to do, which I thought was a very unique experience, and it really went to what Puma's saying this shoe does. It works out perfectly. One thing that did concern me when I first saw the shoe is the Mobium band and how it would actually stand up to the running, and how durable it would be. You always worry about these kind of things fraying or maybe losing that tautness that it's got, and obviously that would have a huge effect on how the shoe works. But I've been running them for a couple of months now, which is why I've left the review so long, so I really wanted to see how this stood up. And it's unbelievable, because you can see it's quite deep in the groove, so it doesn't get any sort of roughness against it. There's absolutely no, you can see if you get up close, there's absolutely no fraying or of any sort, and the actual band itself has kept that tautness. It hasn't lost its elasticity at all. Another thing that I really liked about it is that my foot doesn't move around in this shoe. Obviously you do allow for a bit of movement in a shoe, but I was having a lot of problems with other shoes that I was wearing for the past couple of months, that my foot just felt like it was sliding all over the place. But because of the way the shoe fits, I've never had an issue with that. So it's one of those rare moments where you slip on a shoe and you just feel like, wow, the shoe's, it feels good, it looks lacquer, but it's also doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. I'd highly recommend this shoe. It really would be a good buy whether you're a beginner runner or you've been running for a while. It's a beautiful shoe. I'd recommend it definitely.